President Trump's administration is now weighing a dramatic possibility involving Washington's iconic Kennedy Center. Could the building eventually be torn down? The stunning prospect emerged as the administration continues to face a legal battle over renovations, the proposed closure of the venue, and the controversial push to again put Trump's name on the building, alongside John F. Kennedy's. Lawyers representing the Kennedy Center warned in court papers that if the aging building cannot undergo extensive renovations, it could continue deteriorating until it becomes an unsafe and decrepit structure that may have to be taken down. And if that happens, the filing says decisions would then have to be made about what replaces it, including the possibility of a large outdoor amphitheater overlooking the Potomac River, an idea that has reportedly been proposed for years. The dramatic warning comes amid an increasingly bitter battle over the Kennedy Center itself. Its board, now packed with Trump allies, voted to shut the center down for a years-long renovation. But those plans immediately faced legal scrutiny, and a federal judge earlier blocked the proposed closure after finding the decisions had been made unlawfully. Now the administration is back in court, defending another controversial move, adding Trump's name to the Kennedy Center's facade and other areas of the complex. And that is where the name chaos gets even bigger. That dramatic possibility immediately triggered a very different reaction online. Some users saw the demolition discussion as something more than a renovation dispute. They saw it as possible revenge over the fight to put Trump's name on the Kennedy Center. One post bluntly asked whether Diaper Dawn wants revenge over the name removal. Another accused Trump of wanting to destroy everything, from the White House to the economy, America's reputation and its relationships with allies, and now the Kennedy Center. One particularly scathing reaction compared the situation to a mafia-style threat, essentially arguing that if Trump cannot get his way with the Kennedy Center, the building itself could be at risk. And another user called Trump a baby and a loser, claiming he was threatening to demolish the Kennedy Center simply because he could not get his name on it. Ohio Democratic Representative Joyce Beatty is asking U.S. District Judge Casey Cooper to stop the center from adding Trump's name. Beatty argues the move would violate federal law and go against an earlier ruling which found that the Kennedy Center could not simply be renamed to honor both Trump and President John F. Kennedy. A hearing on that challenge is set for Thursday. So now, as Trump's name faces a fresh courtroom fight at the historic venue, lawyers are raising an even more extraordinary possibility. What if the building itself cannot be saved? But officials insist there is a serious reason behind the push for massive renovations. Back in April, Kennedy Center officials took news outlets inside the building to show what they described as its deteriorating condition. They pointed to corroded and rusted beams, water damage, and crumbling fireproofing, signs of decades of aging infrastructure. One particularly striking problem sits beneath the building. The Kennedy Center's river pump room uses equipment installed in 1971 to help provide cooling through a system connected to the Potomac River. But officials say some of that equipment has not functioned for 30 years and now needs a complete overhaul. So, despite all the political drama surrounding Trump's name, officials argue the renovation issue itself is very real. But here's another twist. Even after the massive renovation, visitors may not actually see a dramatic transformation from the outside. Officials have said the most visible changes could include new landscape pavers, fountains, and possible changes to the interior color palette, while the overall layout of the historic building remains largely unchanged. That means the fight surrounding the Kennedy Center is now playing out on two fronts. First, a battle over whether Trump's name can be legally added to one of Washington's most famous cultural landmarks. And second, a battle over how far the administration should go to save a building officials say is badly in need of repair.
U.S. President Donald Trump's name went up on the Kennedy Center. A federal judge ordered it down. Workers removed the letters, and a tarp covered the spot where they once stood. You might think that was the end of it. Not even close. Now the Trump-aligned Kennedy Center board has voted to put his name back on the same building, but this time with different wording. And critics are already accusing the board of trying to get around the court's ruling. So how did one of America's most famous cultural institutions become the center of a battle over Donald Trump? And can the board really put it back after a judge ordered it removed? The latest twist came on August 13th, when the Kennedy Center board approved new lettering for the building. This time, the board is not simply trying to rename the institution after Trump. The proposed facade would identify it as the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, while adding the words, "restored and renovated by President Donald J. Trump." The board also voted to name the plaza in front of the building the President Donald J. Trump Plaza. That change in wording is crucial because the board has already lost one major legal battle over putting Trump's name on the Kennedy Center. The controversy goes back to December 2025, when the Kennedy Center board voted to add Trump's name to the institution. Trump had already reshaped the Kennedy Center leadership, becoming chairman of the board after removing several existing members and replacing them with allies. After the board vote, Trump's name was installed on the building, creating what was promoted as the Trump Kennedy Center. But Democratic Congresswoman Joyce Beatty challenged the move in court. Beatty was an ex officio member of the board and disputed claims that the decision had been unanimous. According to court records cited in reports, Beatty attempted to object during the meeting but was muted. Then came the legal blow. In May, U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper ruled that the board did not have the authority to unilaterally rename the institution. The Kennedy Center had been established by Congress as a living memorial to former U.S. President John F. Kennedy, and the court found that the board could not simply change that identity on its own. Trump's name was ordered removed from the building and official materials. The lettering eventually came down, and a tarp covered the section of the facade where his name had appeared. But the fight did not stop there. The Trump administration sought to keep the name in place while the case continued. An appeals court refused to allow that, leaving the earlier ruling in effect. And now comes the board's new strategy. Instead of formally renaming the Kennedy Center after Trump, the proposed wording keeps John F. Kennedy's name intact while adding a line crediting Trump with restoring and renovating the building. But critics say changing the wording does not necessarily solve the underlying legal problem. Beatty quickly attacked the latest decision, accusing the board of attempting to circumvent the previous ruling. She said, "This latest development is a transparent effort to circumvent the court's ruling and flies in the face of the statutes that Congress passed. I will continue to fight for this treasured national monument." That means the fight could be heading straight back to court. Judges could now be asked whether the new wording is legally different from the name that was previously ordered off the building. The controversy has also become a major talking point on cable news. CNN anchor Caitlin Collins highlighted the Kennedy Center development while discussing what she described as a much broader Trump branding push. The segment pointed to examples ranging from coins and passports to national park passes before turning back to the battle over the Kennedy Center. Speaking with Collins, New York Times White House correspondent Sean McCreish argued that while the dispute may seem relatively small compared with wars, trade, or other global issues, it reveals something bigger about the political environment surrounding Trump. McCreish said, "These are technically small things that don't affect tens of millions of people or global trade. It's not an issue of war and peace, and yet the smallness of these incidents have a way of magnifying how strange the behavior of the royal court around Trump is. I think it's very strange that a board of people who are loyal to him got together today and said, 'No, we are going to scrape your name on the wall after we've been told to take it off.' That's very unique behavior." Collins responded, "Unique is a word for it." And there's another layer to this fight: the future of the Kennedy Center itself. The venue is expected to undergo extensive renovations, with plans involving a lengthy shutdown. Trump and his allies have presented the project as an effort to restore one of America's most important cultural institutions. Critics, however, argue that renovation should not be used to permanently attach Trump's name to a national memorial created in honor of John F. Kennedy. That's why this is no longer simply a fight over signage. It has become a wider dispute over presidential power, congressional authority, and how far a sitting president can go in putting his personal stamp on a national institution. Trump's name went up. A judge ordered it down, the letters disappeared, and a tarp covered their place. Now the board wants the name back on the same facade, but with a new description. Whether those different words are enough to survive another legal challenge remains to be seen. For now, the building remains the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, but after months of boardroom votes, removed letters, and courtroom rulings, the battle over Donald Trump's place on its walls is clearly not finished. And this time, the most important question is not whether Trump wants his name back, it's whether the courts will let it.